Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, welcome to another Friday night bee chat. Hey Keith and Joe, I see you made it over. And we got Clay and we got Brian and we got Mike and Mark Miller. Good to see you. Hey James, go ahead and drop the link over here. Pin that to the top, let everybody in. I don't know why it isn't pinning. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Trying to get this thing to pin.
It's in there.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's down.
It's on the bottom, but
Yeah, it's down the list. There it is. It's pinned.
it is.
Yeah, I can see it at the top.
It's on the bottom for some reason.
It's on the top of mine.
That's weird. So, let me go back through YouTube again.
Hey, Brian. Some nice looking graphs you had. Brian's seeing it pinned to the top too.
Well, it's pinned on the bottom on mine for some reason. I don't know why. I'm used to seeing it on the top.
Which way is your scroll going, up or down?
It's going up. Oh, for Christ. I don't know. Anyway.
Today's your backwards day.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, always got some advertisements or something, it seems like. I'm still messing with this stupid thing. This thing, stupid, will not go back to where I want it. Anyway, all right, I'm back. All right, Todd. We got Todd and Joe and Keith and hey, Norman. And we got what's happening down your way?
Well, we had some rain overnight last night, and it rained this morning.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
It's raining again now. Hey, Todd, how are you tonight?
There's John from Colorado, West Clift. Hey, Danny. And yeah, it rained sprinkled here to late this evening, just enough to make an outline of the car on the blacktop.
Yep.
And that kind of stuff. And now it's cold. It's like going to get down to 32 degrees tonight.
Yeah, it's only supposed to be in
And
the
today
40s tomorrow here.
I don't know, at lunchtime they said our temperature was like 49 degrees and in Bel Air area. So I guess the big thing, let's see what I do. Hey Billy Lee, Mike. Um we let's see, yesterday 75 degrees and we had enough time in the evening there. I had a hive there that was queenless. So I had a nuke that was queen right. So I condensed the 10 frame nuke down to basically one medium with the original bees and then cleaned up another box and put a medium on top of that and then went down the road to that nuke and found the queen and brought 10 frames was basically what the nuke was up there and dropped it in the top of that box,
Yeah.
closed them up and gave them some Hive Alive sugar water and a bee bite.
Yeah.
I had a half a bee bite, perfect for it. They've been eating. Everybody who's had them has been eating them up, and got that done. Went down at the end of the road down there where I had that piddly nuke, and it's down to one nuke, medium nuke box right now. It's got honey in it. I ain't even not even going to feed it. It's got bees in it. Yeah, it's got a queen in it, but it just the queen is junk.
Yeah.
And hey Eric. And so and then I went through all the hives and I took and cleaned all the bottom boards with my scraper they all needed cleaning. And then I went through and checked juice jars, and a lot of them, some of them, I had some jars that didn't have Hive Alive, and then those ones are done. And then the other ones, I put some Hive Alive on either second time around or first time around. So maples are blooming. They've been blooming for a week now or more. And of course, far as fly days, it's either been really yesterday was probably the best fly day we've had in the whole week. And that kind of thing. But I'm looking at my chart here. Some of them have at least 4 quarts of sugar water on them, maybe 5. And I'm looking at that saying, I don't think I need to feed them anymore. I think they've got enough liquid in them to, hey, Brad, enough liquid in them to, sustain them for now.
Yeah.
I think there's enough. I don't see a lot of honey, flow. Of course, I haven't been in them to really see any nectar per se in there. But I would say a gallon. Each of them's got about a gallon in there, and I'd say that's about all they really need as far as having as far as me feeding them.
Yep. Yep.
And like I say, all of them had bee bites on them. They all been chewing down on them. I did have that one little teeny hive. I said that was kind of it's just junk. It had had a little piece of pollen patty still left on there. Of course, the worms were starting to kick in on that, so that went out in the yard, and I smashed that, and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Brad, and so that's kind of where we're at as far as in the hot, in the I still got some insulation on top since it's cold. Uh, Not that it's really doing, I'll say, a tremendous amount of help there, I think. And hey, Russell. And so, we'll have to kind of see how it goes. I mean, I got all my nukes pretty much used. And everything else is, as far as they're populated, it just, some of them are stronger than others. I'm looking for that equal amount of population. My biggest question is I'm looking at my queens and the ones that I made, and I don't know whether when you buy queens from somebody else, are they all equal as far as productivity, or are they all good and bad and mediocre and whatever? That's my biggest question. Whether they've got better genetics and they've built up that genetic line to where all of them are relatively the same as far as being prolific. I'm not sure on that.
I mean, it's possible as long as you got good drones, of the same genetic line.
Now, Ryan, you say you're going to graft on April the 9th. You think it's going to be warm enough for that time? Especially at night? I always found, once if it dips into the 40s, you don't have your cell builder just right, you'll chill the brood, the graft, and all.
Yeah, you might want to be careful and let it warm up a little bit more.
Well, I know Chester up there, Pennsylvania, they're talking on the 15th, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, what was it? When did we have that class at your place last year, Bill? Was it May?
April, towards the end of the month.
It was towards the end of the month, wasn't it? Within a week of being the end of the month.
Yeah, it was like 20th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere in that neighborhood last year, and it was cold.
And that night it got down to what? 35, 40 degrees?
35, 40 degrees. But, if you put enough bees, if you populate your cell builder enough, like we did.
And you also had an insulated cell builder too.
And I had an insulated cell builder. They will warm it up and they will heat it up enough to keep those cells warm. So, but if you're lacking in population, that brood's going to get cold.
Now, Greenberry, are any hives more aggressive than others? I've got one out there. It's a 24 queen, and she's doing a great job as far as a cluster. But their bees are a little bit, I don't know, they call them aggressive or not. They're kind of in your face. They'll fly up at you, some of them.
Yeah, that's not aggressive.
Whereas I've got other bees like that nuke I got. Well, I just picked the nuke up. No smoke, no nothing. Just walked it on down there, put it down, put the bees in the hive. They were like chilled out, no problem at all. Went down and grabbed another box, brought it down, and went through them and graded the frames of bees out and what was on the frames and put them all in there. And they were just happy as no problem at all. They weren't, getting at me or nothing. But that really super strong, and now of course it's strong. It's really strong. It's 10 frames of bees.
Yeah, I mean,
and then like Brad said, you need walking drones before you craft, and I have to agree with that. And
yeah, I agree with that 110%.
And I've got drone frames in the hives, and yeah, they're filled corner to corner, and they're capped, but they ain't emerged yet. The last time that I looked at them.
Even after they emerge, you still got 2 weeks.
Yeah,
before they're mature enough to go out and mate.
That's right.
And talking about aggressive bees, you open up a hive, that's a normal reaction. They're going to come up and check you out. They're going to fly at you. They're going to try to intimidate you to get you to leave them alone. But aggressive bees, when they come out in huge numbers.
Yeah, these are not.
And
These are like a hand, a dozen bees coming up at me. They're coming at my hands or whatever because I'm taking the feed jar away or something, and that kind of stuff. Now,
yeah,
Brian,
so Africanized bees, Greenberry, unless you live in extreme southern Georgia near the Georgia line, or the extreme east coast of Georgia or Florida and down along the Gulf Coast, you don't have to worry about Africanized bees.
unless you bring a queen from up down there.
But still, she won't make it through the winter.
No, but I had a queen I brought to my cousins, and them bees attacked at me, and I told her to get back into the garage, and they actually killed, I think, 3 or 4 of her chickens. And that was one mean bunch, and I didn't have my smoke.
Yeah, that's just.
I mean, they were. I won't say they're Africanized, but they were. I mean, they were the most aggressive bees I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
They followed me around the building and then got into my truck, and they were like coming in at the truck trying to get at me.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an Africanized bee in this far north.
But we killed that hive.
Yeah, there is no such thing as an Africanized bee this far north.
Well,
now, there are aggressive bees this far north, but they're not Africanized bees.
And I'll say that the Africanized, it's been watered down through breeding, mixed breeding, that it's not a pure Africanized bee.
Not anymore.
You figure like out there in Texas, now that bunch, there's some Africanized bees. I mean, just
Texas and extreme southern California, New Mexico, Arizona. Yeah, those are.
Well, Jeremy out there, you watch his videos. His bee, they're all over him constantly. I don't know how you put up with it. Well, Greenberry, as far as I know, if you look up on the science part of it, Africanized bees don't like cold weather. They stay in the deep south.
Yep.
If they are up this way, they will fly south or swarm south. I do know that. I've heard that at some of the meetings I went to.
They just don't live through the winter here. They can't handle the cold.
What else was I was looking? So that's what I've been doing. I finally got it. I mean, all my 10 framers were populated with a queen right hive. Like Brian said from Flower Street, he had a hive that's got a lousy queen in it, and he's going to replace it with a nuke as soon as it gets right out there. And that's what, I think that's just something everybody's got to do. And I don't think some years you might have every hive perfectly, exactly kind of where you want them. And other years it's like, nah. and all that. But I get, you just have to. My bees are looking better this year in population wise as far as the overall amount of hives that I have, but I still have. I got the one there. Like I said, it's a nuke. It's a dink. It didn't make, the overwintered queen didn't make it. The one that I just put that other queen in that 10 framer that was queenless. I seen her, I spotted her. She's not a real big queen, but I mean, she's doing okay, but she's not a, a real go getter when it comes to being a good queen. But it's still sort of early. It's still cold and that kind of stuff. Norman's got. Okay, here I got to read Norman. Let's see. Norman did second OA or second or OA of OA 5 OA treatments today. Second 5 OA treatments today. Check the bottom board
Found
screen.
one on each board.
Yeah, but did you wait 24 hours, Norman? You should wait till the next day and then count. That's what I do. I think at least 12 hours, at least 24 hours. But that's what I do in the winter. I start in November and do it every 2 weeks. And by this year, by the 15th of November, I didn't see any drops at all. And then I did another 2 more treatments, I think it was in December. And then after that, it got too cold. Yeah, Norman. All right, after 4 days, you only found one mite. Okay. I always wait 24 hours after the treatment and check them. And then it's when I clean. Of course, before I do the treatment, I clean the board off with my scraper, the coroplast, and then I treat and then come back in 24 hours and then look at the board. Is my way of doing it. And that's the thing. If Norman, if he's right on the right path there about having a clean hive right now, several things. If you can attain that early winter or fall, and your bees most likely are going to get through the winter, and they're going to be much more healthier and come into the spring a lot better. And it's all about keeping them numbers super low. Hey, Dottie. And that kind of thing. But that's what I try to do. Some folks trade, I guess, about this time of the year, Bill? Is that what you do normally?
Yep.
Yeah, Dottie's up north there, I believe. Up in Maine, yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure you got feet of snow up there, still on the ground. Hey, Roy. So that's, like I say, what's happening here. Like I say, I got everything kind of in line. Everything's got all my boxes checked so far and all that kind of stuff. And hey, Keith. The grandkids are gone, so you can relax. So that means you can come in on the chat.
Yeah, come on in here and talk to us, Roy. We've forgotten what you look like.
Dottie says snow's all melted, but it's still cold. I know Brad up there, them guys are still having snow and severe cold, like below zero.
Yeah, my brother still got snow on the ground in Vermont.
I don't know why people live up there.
I don't either. I haven't figured that one out yet.
I don't know why the human race even settled there. That's what I can't understand.
The Vikings. That's why they settled there. The Vikings.
It's like Brad there. He said, ain't no snow melted up there. It'll be another month before anything happens up that way.
Yeah, another month at least. But it's nice to have Brad on the show. He can still give us his perspective.
Yeah, he said no Americans. That's why they settled up there. I don't think that really mattered back then.
I don't think it did either.
Yeah, it's cold this week in Pennsylvania. It's going to be 49 tomorrow. And I don't think Sunday's going to be much better. That's why I was so happy of getting. Here comes Joe. There he is.
There he is.
What did you do? Change your background, Joe?
Yeah, don't have that background on StreamYard.
You'll have to upload it to your thing next time. Joe was on the other chat I'm on. He was talking about his bear visitors.
Never fun. I actually have some questions on splitting using double screen boards and timing with mated queens. And I think the queens are they're going to ship out on a Monday. So I'm actually thinking about going in there on Saturday and putting in excluders. Just open the box up, do a little bit of equalizing. If I see the queen, I see the queen, put her in the bottom, throw an excluder on. If I don't, I'll just leave the excluder on, do that either Friday or Saturday. When the bees come in, middle of April, but it's a Monday. I think it's the 13th.
Oh,
so
okay.
then when the queens come in, I'll go out on, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, go back through them all, pull out that excluder, figure out which one the queen is in, top or bottom, and then throw a double screen board in there. I'm wondering if that's going to work out.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you take and get an empty box off to the side, pick out I presume you want in your nuke, you want 3 frames of brood, right?
I'm just gonna split them. They're all double deeps. I'm gonna split them top and bottom 10 frame. And then the top 10 frame will get moved out to another yard.
Well, if you want to make sure that queen's in the bottom, then shake if you can't find her in that top box, shake all the bees off down in the bottom box, put the queen excluder on, put the brood box, set it up to where you got brood and what you want in there. And then your nurse bees will come up through your queen excluder and populate that and cover it all up, in 24 hours. And then all you got to do is set it off to the side and where your queen's at in the other bottom box.
Yeah. If I'm splitting them that way, just taking the whole box away, does it matter whether the queen is in the top or bottom? Because I'm introducing a mated queen to whichever one she's not in.
That's true. That's probably the most efficient way to do it.
But is timing like Saturday to Tuesday or Wednesday good timing to do that?
Well, you can put a queen excluder in and see which box has fresh eggs in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be the box that has your queen in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other queen will go in the other one. I'll leave them in there, the double screen board until I have the other yard totally ready. It'll probably be the following weekend. So I'll do queen excluders Saturday, new queen in whatever box on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then move that box off the double screen board to the new yard the following Saturday.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep. I don't see why that won't work.
Okay.
What about introducing that queen? I always found when are you going to put the double screen board in?
When I put the queen in on Wednesday, I'll leave the excluder in there from Saturday to Wednesday. It'll be replaced with a double screen board on Wednesday. And Saturday, that top colony will get moved out to a different yard.
Are you going to let them eat the candy out, or are you going to stop them doing that and for a while?
I was going to let them start on the candy if they're on a double screen board and separated.
I'm just, how long? Well, I guess what I'm getting at is if you let the queen pheromones kind of die out, or.
So that was option 2, just throw a double screen board in on Saturday. And then that the top colony, or whichever one doesn't have the queen, is queenless from Saturday till Wednesday. And then they get their new queen.
I think I would do that.
Okay.
Well, there's a little trick to it, right?
Like
to extend your release, what you can do is take some painter's tape, or what they used to call masking tape. It's the non-colored version of painter's tape.
Mm-hmm.
Put a piece across the candy and just punch a little bit of hole in the tape, and it extends that release by as much as 2 days.
Okay.
So instead of a 3-day release, you have a 5-day release, and that gives that queen's pheromone a chance to permeate the box before they release her.
I don't know.
That's another thought right there.
I like the idea of putting that double screen in there, and it stops the pheromone spread between the two boxes.
It does, but if you are gonna put a queen in it right away,
you're gonna have to shake every frame off and make sure you ain't got no queen cells.
So if I did it that way, I've got, I think, eight colonies in that yard. I was going to go through the first one, shake it down, throw the excluder on, put it back together, go through all of them, and then go back to the beginning and pull the excluder and put the double screen in. Yeah. And that time they should be able to get some their speeds up there for the top box.
Thank you, Dottie. Appreciate that. Helps the show stay on the air.
Bill Lee, I'm in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. I'm assuming he was talking to me.
I've got 3 more weeks to change my mind 7 more times.
Yeah. But that's a little trick that I don't think a lot of people know. I mean, Mark probably knows it, but if it's a really, really strong hive, instead of 1 layer of painter's tape, put 2, and just take a nail and just punch a little hole in the painter's tape, and they'll start working on it to get her out. But it just lets those pheromones permeate the hive a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just, as far as acceptance rate is the big thing.
Yeah, and you get a better chance of acceptance that way too.
I mean, I had one where I pulled the queens out, and when I got my new queens in from down south, it had been exactly 7 days. So now they're completely, hopelessly queenless. But then I had to go frame by frame and cut the queen cells out. Yep. And then put that queen in there, and I had a very high percentage of it taken and everything.
So if I do the shakedown excluder, then I'd probably want to put all the capped in the top and all the open in the bottom as much as possible. Prevent that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you bring all the cap brood frames up, then they can't move, or they can't make queen cells as easy. and stuff. And Russell says, if you move the hive, you lose the foragers, increases the queen acceptance. That's true too.
Yep.
Which is what I'm gonna do. The top boxes are all leaving that yard.
Yeah. And all that. And then yeah, like you say, you're gonna use queen excluder or the double screen. As far as figuring out what area the queen is.
Mm-hmm. I can lean them more towards shaking them down. Make sure they're in the bottom. And double screen right from the get-go.
Well, if you shake them all down to the bottom, then you put your queen excluder in and put the frames upstairs of what you want, and then bring that population, come back the next morning or whatever until before they get to flying.
Yep.
And then you put your double screen in. And then in that way, of course, with the double screen, you're going to have a rear entrance. So that way you'll get rid of your foragers. They'll fly around and go back into the bottom box where they're normally going to. So, and that kind of stuff. So, you could do it multiple ways. What, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Dodd was saying there, if you do that, take not eggs and young brood, but the older larva brood and move up there, because the nurse bee, like Dodd said, the nurse bees will come up and take care of that brood. And then, but they can't build a queen if they feel like they're getting hopelessly queenless.
Yeah, that would work.
Yep.
Yeah, some nurse bees too. Or, I mean, open brood. Yeah, true. All that. So where are you at as far as you're doing anything in your apiary, Joe? Anything particular feeding or anything?
I put out some open buckets just to put some out. They seem to be doing pretty good. I kind of, the 1 yard is scaring me. I don't want it to get too powerful before I get the queens in. So I just kind of decided not to put any syrup on them. They're very populated right now. So I don't want them getting ahead of me before I can get them split. And the other one, I put a couple of buckets of syrup out, and they've been hitting that a little bit. Nothing pollen wise right now. They're bringing their own pollen in. I have a bucket of dry pollen out, and they're not touching it at all.
That's been over for 2 or 3 weeks around here.
Yeah.
Pollen patties are done. Fondant's done. I've had juice jars on for the last, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. And, the only problem I have concerned about that was the weather conditions, taking a roller coaster ride up and down with that being on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they seem to be doing fine with that. And that kind of thing. And luckily I've been able to get out there and dive into them like I did yesterday, where I could open them up and leave them open and get everybody arranged and rearranged, not worrying about being cold. And hey, Nancy. Good to see you. And that kind of thing. And um, so um, anyway, um, got that much of it done. Got like I say that, like I said earlier. What's it say? Hmm? I'll be coming up to the Chester County thing tomorrow, Nancy, for sure. Um, but so just I got all that done, got it cleaned up, everything's good, and just kind of wait until the weather kind of gets. Everybody's talking about when you're going to demaree, when you're going to demaree. People calling me and talking to me about that, and I'm like, well, when I start seeing the dandelions, that's when the honey supers go on. That's when I'll demaree. And you don't want brood upstairs. Um, let's see. When it's cold, it'll chill it. And right now, things are just weather-wise, it's too much of a roller coaster. And I don't know. Some people say um, we're 2 weeks ahead of time. I don't see it where I'm at. Things are kind of like relatively on board as far as the time of the year.
Yeah, we get one nice day and then 3 cold days and then one nice day again.
Exactly. We had yesterday was the best day of the week. And we've had other weekdays at maybe in the 60s, which is not too bad. But some days there might be in the very low 60s and the bees are sort of flying. And then there's days like yesterday, it was 75 degrees and the bees were really flying.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. And I was out there several days prior to that looking at the jars, and they hit that 75-degree day. I guess everybody was really pushing it. And then they burned, they came back in hungry and they all just sucked them jars dry on quite a few of the hives that were close to being emptied. And that kind of stuff. So, but, so that's where we're at with that. Like I say, and then I was talking about here earlier, I've got them where they got at least a gallon worth of syrup on there. I think that's plenty good enough. They have enough reserves now, and they can also break, it's warm enough. They can they might not be flying, but the clusters broke for sure inside the hive. So they can actually touch any of the syrup or honey that's still in there on the outer edges and stuff like that. And, hopefully the juice will help keep the larvae, well populated with royal jelly and bee bread and that kind of stuff. They feed all the brood and stuff and get it nice and milky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
How much rain you got up there for the month, Charlie?
How much rain for the month? I don't know.
Yeah, we got almost 3 inches here for the month.
It rained. They spread fertilizer yesterday, and it rained last night, so it worked out well.
Yeah.
And it rained and it sprinkled this afternoon. And that's about it for rain for now. It has been raining quite often. Of course, it was getting warm, and then mud started. Mud was kind of muddy. It rained last weekend, Friday night, I think it was. Last Friday, right before that auction sale that they had up there in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So it's been raining about once a week here the last couple of weeks at least.
Thank you.
So as far as I mean, we're not dry per se.
Yeah, we're dry down here still. We're still in a drought.
I haven't really yeah, Nancy says Bruce gets a Kona Queens. Is it Kona Queens or is that from another guy? There's another guy that he gets them from. I like the way his packaging is. But I wonder whether or not it was like there's a gal in Chester. She worked at Kona Queens as herself. And she got queens from Georgia. And she said, well, these queens act just like the ones at Kona. You know, they're all Italian. Italian's Italian, you know. I don't know whether one's any better than the other.
I got queens coming from Hawaiian Queen Company next week. They'll be here Wednesday.
It's early for them.
Yep.
Have you got them sold or what?
Yep. I got 130 of them coming.
And what are they, Italian?
Nope. They're carnies. Well, the major portion of the order is going to be Carniolans, and the rest of it is going to be Italians. And they're all Latshaws.
And they're Latshaws. What now?
Yep.
A Latshaw. I thought a Latshaw was a breed of its own.
It is. They're all Latshaws.
Yeah, but are they? Is there such thing as a Latshaw Carney and a Latshaw
Yep.
Italian?
A Latshaw Carney, a Latshaw Italian. So, and a Latshaw Mutt. It's a cross of both.
So, but all of them are spoken for.
Yep. Every one of them.
I just find it being early. That's all. Hey, John. Mr. Bucket Alarm.
Yeah. They're Bucket Man.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind trying a Latshaw, but later down the road. When it's a little bit warmer.
Yep.
HD or hey Harry, 2.8 inches of rain in March in Aberdeen, and that's where I'm at, basically at the county.
There's a question for you, Charlie, from Block Apiary.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Do you put your probiotics on the top and the bottom box? Well, it's kind of new for me for this year, but what I'm going to do is let's see, that's Rick. I'm going to put bee bites on below the queen excluder where the brood chamber is, and also along with Super DFM once a month. And that's the only probiotics that I'll be putting on. And I'll probably put like a half of a bee bite, which is about like 5 inches long. The total a pound, I guess, is about 10 inches. Cut it in half, and I'll put one on each. Put one in there about like once a month.
Yep.
Depends on how much they eat. If they eat it up, I'll put another one on. They've been eating it up pretty darn quick.
Yep.
Here lately. And now Mr. John likes bee bites. he told me a story. I think the way he got it was he had this little I'll say like a two-frame nuke that was just poor, and he took a little bit of bee bite and cut a piece of it and kind of stuck it down in between the frames so bees could get a hold of it. That's how much lack of bees were in that little two-frame nuke. And he said all of a sudden, a month later, they were just booming.
Yep.
I think I got that story right and all that. But yeah, I'm going to try bee bites throughout the season, or basically, at least a half a patty a month. Maybe if a half a patty only lasts 2 weeks, I might either put a whole patty on or put a half a patty on every 2 weeks and see how it works.
Yep.
John said that was right. I had the story straight. I remembered it right. But because of the bee bites, they had some nutrition there, and they blew right up. So that's what bee bites are about. It is not a pollen patty. And like I was saying earlier, and I went out there early yesterday. That one little teeny hive had a little bit of global patty on there, and all I seen larvae in it. Threw that out. Everything's been thrown out as far as the patties goes. They're not eating it. They got the natural stuff's coming in. They don't touch it. But now this stuff here doesn't have any pollen in it. It's got let's see, seaweed extract and
Inverted sugar.
probiotics, and I think rocket fuel, right?
A little bit, but it's got inverted sugar in it.
Okay, well, inverted sugar meaning it's been what?
It's been heated and the molecules have been separated. It's actually sucrose, not glucose, and it's been inverted. It makes it easier for them to digest it.
And anyway, they seem to be chowing it down. Nancy's got white sugar, Hive Alive, pollen, and bee bites.
She's got the super fuel patties on it if they're white.
That's the white ones are that's the fondant patties.
Yep.
And that's
not
got,
a bee bite.
Yeah, that's fondant and rocket fuel. And it does have probiotics in it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, mine are the green looking ones. Mine are green.
Bee bites are green.
And the rocket fuel or the
White.
super fuel is white.
Yep.
And they ate that up too. But by the time I got down through the one box of those, it was time to switch over to liquid. Yeah, bee bites have the algae.
Yeah, it's spirulina.
That's right, spirulina.
All right, I'm going to head out. Thanks for the advice. Appreciate it again. And Charlie, I'll look for you tomorrow.
Are you going to be over there, Joe?
Yeah, well.
All right, well, look me up. I'll have my, since it's going to be cold, I'll have my sweat jacket on with Sawmill Charlie Bee Farm and the emblem on the back of me.
All right,
sounds good. Hopefully people will notice me.
All right, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, see you.
Bye.
Mr. John, you're saying you use it when you got sick bees or keep them healthy?
Both.
Yeah, beehiver highs. Go and take a beekeeping course, either from the local club or the college or whatever, if it's in your
Yeah.
area. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. And Mr. John says really helped sick last year, and he keeps it on there to either help out the sick bees or promote good healthy bees. And that's
Yep.
what I'm doing with them right now as far as strong microbials products is doing the bee bites. We did the fondant, which was the super nectar. And one thing I have learned this year when it comes to fondant in general, whether it be like microbials, Hive Alive, Matt's Magic fondant, I use some of that. I use that quite a bit. Compared to those three types of fondant, which I call bee fondant, versus the baker's fondant that I've had experience with, where you bought it in a 50-pound block from up here at Dutch Gold, I think it was, or whatever it was, that company up there, is that, it might be cheaper in a way, but it dries out the baker's fondant real easy. Of course, putting maybe in a bag might help it too. But when you got these three different products, and all of them either have, I know Matt's had pollen powder in there, it had rocket fuel in there, it had Hive Alive in there, and whatever else you put in there, which the bees loved it, and it's soft and it's easy for them to chew on. And strong microbials has the same stuff. It's white, but it's got rocket fuel in it. It's got probiotics in it to benefit the bees. And it's got, of course, the sugar, which is the fondant part of it. And it's soft and it's chewable and convenient too, compared to that block of fondant. And Hive is the same way. It's got the algae in it and thymol. I'm not sure what else it's got in it. Lemongrass, I think. But anyway, it's soft and it's chewable compared to the baker's fondant. So as far as my personal recommendations, you want to buy bee fondant. And fondant, it's got actually additives that are beneficial to the bees.
Yeah, to give them some nutrition.
Yeah, something that's beneficial besides just sugar. And it's like Global Patties. I have not tried them, but it states right on the packaging that it doesn't have any additives in it. It's just sugar.
Yep.
And all that, which is fine. If nothing beats something and all that. But I think that if you're going to give something to your bees, try to find something that's got some beneficial additives to it and all that. So,
and the good thing about the bee bites, if you get hungry while you're putting them on, you can eat part of it.
I've not tried that. I make
Not
sure
hurt.
I make sure
It
that
won't hurt you.
I'm well fed. It just gives you green. It gives you green teeth. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it gives you green poop too. If you eat too much of it.
Well, I don't know. It's just, hey, Travis. But yeah, it seemed like the bee bites definitely, bees like them, and hive beetles don't get attracted to them.
Nope. They stay away from them.
And, as far as the gut health, you got to remember that the bee gut, from the science guys that I've watched on like Bob Benny's show and stuff, is that is how the bee actually defends itself against viruses and the virus loads that maybe might be inside them themselves.
Yep.
So in order to keep, if they keep the bee gut healthy and it's able to fight the viral loads and stuff. And hopefully the stuff what these companies claim actually works. And it seemed like what Mr. John says, where he's used his stuff on that small hive, it seems to be working quite a bit. Hey, Sarah. And Mr. John says that's a fact, Charlie. And well, I'm taking it with what Mr. John says. He's the man when it comes to that. And if anybody wants a bucket alarm, Mr. John is the inventor. And let's see. Bill's got some bucket alarms for sale too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
John said he had 6 swarms this week. Of course, he's down in Florida. But bucket alarms, well, you know, a lot of people said we can all keep an eye on things, but you know, you do get distracted. I've gotten distracted where my honey plane was starting to smoke because it was overheated, you know, and I didn't turn it off or regulate the heat with the regulator that I got for it now. Same thing with the buckets. I've never spilt any honey, but it come close to where a little bit more. I should have turned the gate off on the extractor a lot sooner. That's where the bucket alarms come in.
Yeah, or phone rings, or somebody comes to the door and you go to the door and you forget all about the extractor and it gets full. And next thing you know, a bucket alarm goes off and cuts everything off.
Well, but you know, they got them to where at least it sounds the alarm so it gets your attention.
Yep.
Roy's going to do some OA vapor with his new bucket from Easy Ox.
Yep.
Well, Uncle Junior, yeah, the bee lives for about 6 weeks, but it's not just, it isn't for the adult bee. It's for those young bees, you know, the larvae and stuff. You put Hive Alive in your sugar water. You got those, it helps the adult bees and the young bees develop into adult bees.
And so, it's not just the worker bee or the drone. It's more of a nutrition factor for the queen, because if you have a healthy queen and she's getting the right nutrition, that means she's going to lay healthy eggs and you're going to have healthy larvae, and those grow into healthy bees.
Hey, Jeremy. You got the mesquite trees out there in full bloom. All right, Nancy. We'll catch you later. We'll see you tomorrow. I know I got to bug out of this chat as soon as possible tonight, because I got to get up early to get up the road to get up there, because it's going to take me close to 2 hours to get there. Jeremy, how's things out in Texas out there? I know them bees are always all over you, constantly out there. So now you're teaching school, huh, Jeremy? Mr. John had a poison swarm this week, and the bee bites have saved the ones that lived. Really? Now, when you say a poison, what kind of poison you might figure happened on that? Is that from, like, let's say, the orange groves or whatever was left of them down there? Well, that's good to hear, Jeremy, that they're at least they're calming down some. Maybe because you had lots of rain out there and they got plenty of food.
Yeah, that
Plenty
could
of
be
nectar,
it.
and that might be it. I think Philip said that, didn't he? That they had a lot of rain out that way.
Yep.
That might be the fact that they got food coming in and not scavenging. How did they get sprayed, John? Do you know?
Yes, Uncle Junior, the DFM plus P801. That's what the P801 is for. It is a counteraction to pesticides.
So Philip got all the rain, and then Jeremy didn't. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean the 801 is definitely if you're around pesticides and stuff like
Yep.
that. It actually binds with the pesticide molecules to
Yep. So
for
it'll
the
pass
bees,
through easier.
yeah, before it passes through the gut of the bee, back to that gut of the bee.
Yep.
Oh, so it was a swarm, and they sprayed it with probably bee killer or whatever.
He said he's at the beginning of the desert. He's there with the last chance to get gas or diesel fuel before you start across Death Valley.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, Chuck's. He was on my show that one night. So his bee barn burnt down yesterday. This guy's very. Yeah, I know. So his back shed, I guess you would call it, burnt down. He's a retired airline pilot, I believe, is what he said he was. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I guess the experiment got too hot.
The incubator got too warm.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Never know.
Hard to tell.
Must have had a video of it.
Sounds that way.
I didn't see it, but hey, Josh.
So I got a bunch of shorts up there that I posted again this week.
Yeah, I know. Don't look. We got to talk about that. You're making me look bad.
Everybody loves them.
Really? Well, I don't know. Me, so what do you do? Zoom in on me or something like
No,
that?
I don't do it. Okay. AI pulls the clips out of the entire chat. And that's how they're generated. They're AI generated. And everybody so far has loved them. So,
is that what AI does? I don't know nothing about AI.
Yeah, like if you go into your StreamYard and
Yeah,
after it's over, before it goes into the library, or even after it goes into the library, you can click on generate AI clips or AI generated clips, and AI will go through and pull out, highlights, funny things that happen, and bits of the conversation to get people interested to listen and everything else. So far, people are liking them. I'm not doing it to make you look bad, Charlie.
No, I didn't say you were. It's just like I'm sitting there, nom nom. I'm like, I guess I can't eat on the darn show anymore. Well, we got 64 folks in here, and I think everybody must be over there watching the yellow-legged horn rat thing
Yeah.
on Cayman's channel, which is not even in our area to worry about, luckily.
Yeah.
There was 145 over there, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the popcorn Charlie clip. I didn't even realize it when I put it up there, Charlie. And then I went back and looked at it the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, this is funny. It's making you famous, Charlie.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep. But anyway, that's what I'm doing in my hives and stuff, and everybody else hopefully is. I know that Brian, he had a guest. He had Tom and Melissa out there in Colorado doing a guest speaking, and then Tom got stung.
Uh-oh.
About passed out, I hear.
Uh-oh.
And then he
Brian,
had
did you get Tom hurt?
Yeah, and then he had to cut his ring. He barely finally got his ring off his hand because it was swollen. I almost had to go out there with my saw and cut it off.
They cut the ring off, or did they cut his finger off?
Well, no, they slipped it off. They finally got it slipped off. They put it in ice, I guess, and got the swelling down enough to get the ring off. But I had a lady come to me one time at the firehouse, and she thought I was going to cut her finger off to get the ring off. And I'm like, I got a tool for this. I said, slip it underneath that there, and I turned this thing. It looks like a darn
saw blade
with a wing nut on it, like you do a can opener, and cut, and voila, there it is.
Yep.
I had some new probie was with me at the time. He said, how are we going to do that? I said, I got a tool. We do? Yeah. I said, it's around here someplace. Let me dig in the ambo. And there it was in the backpack there.
Yeah. It's called a ring cutter.
Ring cutter.
Yeah.
Tip of the day, make Tom sign a liability waiver.
Yeah.
And then Mike says, is it, yeah, that's, or Travis says dental floss works well.
Yeah.
How's that? Just to pull it off or what?
Well, you can use dental floss two ways. You can wrap it around the finger and then work it under the ring, and you can work the ring off that way. Or if you tie it tight enough and you start pulling back and forth on it, eventually when it gets to the bone, it gets a little hard to cut the bone with it, but you'll cut through it eventually.
Did everybody see that? Was that Tom's Mark Queen? It looked like something that what's his name on StreamYard did. Bruce, his bees. He had paint on the wings and everything else. all that stuff. Yeah. Well, when that AI does that generation, that short, I guess you would call it. Don't you get to preview it before you post it?
Yeah, I preview them before I post them, and then some of them I just post it because I post some of them to Facebook and I post some of them to YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Where'd you go, Charlie?
Oh, what happened there? I must have hit the
I
wrong.
don't know. You dropped off.
Well, I went and was moving my cursor, I guess. I guess maybe I hit the out button. A pollen patty going liquid? I've never heard of such thing.
I haven't either. If a pollen patty went liquid, it had to be on there for quite a while.
DC says Matt's fondant inadvertently saved them. The baggie stopped the liquid patty from getting on the brood nest. Now, are we talking a fondant patty instead of a pollen patty? I've seen they talk about fondant liquefying and oozing down, and I'm like, yeah, baker's fondant, most likely.
Yeah. Now I know Baker's fondant will do it.
There's another reason why you don't use baker's fondant in the hive.
DC said it was a homemade pollen patty and 2 weeks of rain, about 5 inches of rain.
Hey, Brad. Good to see you. Are you new to the chat?
Yes, he just joined.
Well, glad to see you come on in here. I'm on your web page or YouTube channel. Looks like you're doing quite good. You got, I don't know, you got quite a few hives, it looks like to me. About 50 or so. If you got a camera, come on into the, click the link at the top there and you can come in and have a chat. And you can tell us what you're doing and everything with your bees. Yeah. Come on in. We can have somebody new to talk to.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. Good to see you again. Are you still out in California or are you back home? I seen where Bracken his bees haven't come back from California yet.
They haven't.
No. I thought they'd been back by now, but I guess not.
Yeah, I thought they would have been back by now too.
There ain't no technical pickle here, Brad. We're just a bunch of sideliners and a few commercial guys
Yeah.
occasionally that hang out and talk bees and see where everybody's at, depending on what part of the United States and Canada you're from.
Yeah, you can't mess this chat up.
No. Hey, Grammy, Lisa. How's the new bee supply shop running? Is it getting popular in your area? Gaining some momentum. Well, that's good. You got to get the word out in your area there. You said that you didn't have a lot of competition per se, and what else we got here? So, Kevin, did you get all your bees out of California now? I know you had 5 loads out last week. You had 15 to go. Hey, Larimore Farms. Keith. So you're working on some wholesalers. Just added a new one today. You mean
Suppliers.
suppliers?
Yeah.
Trying to get some new supplies in, different stuff. Well, that's good. You know, as long as you got the right products and stuff like that in there for people to buy. And I think didn't you say it was like 4 or 5 hours to the closest bee supply house in your area? Down there, was it? Let's see, you're in what? I got 4 more trailers to go. Okay, leaving some behind for sale. So you selling? I guess Kevin, you're selling some nukes or whatever, or whole hives, maybe to some locals out there. And aren't you going back up to? I guess you're moving out of Cali and going back to, what is it, North Dakota? Hey, Philip. Hope
Oh, my
everything.
Lord. Philip's in here.
Yeah, Texas has showed up.
Yeah, Texas is on the map again.
Unless he's driving again. The last 2 weeks he's been driving.
Yeah.
Let's see. No.
So what, you going up to Chester tomorrow, Charlie?
Yeah, Chester Bee Club's having this 1-day conference up there. And Kevin says he's got a place in Louisiana and Mississippi. Yeah, I know that it's Zach Lamas is going to be up there talking on a couple of different talks. What's the other guy's name? He says, I should let me look it up.
I might go, Kevin. Depends on how things are going around the shop. Well, come on in here, Phil. You're being bashful tonight.
It's you got Fred Dunn, you got Robin Underwood from Penn State, you got Zach Lamas, Varroa and the viruses, new findings in that.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Then you got some breakout sections. Nothing great about it. They got New York State Beekeepers Tech Team Program. Humberto is going to be up there. Pesticides and regulators hurting the bees and societies. And I mean, these are the ones that and then Zach's going to talk about colony losses, what happened in 2025. I'm sure that Kevin can tell us all about that. And I got my friend Ed Sharp up there. He's talking about queen manipulation. He's the one that has been doing a lot of queen, doing genetics and stuff over the last 10 years and stuff. And he does quite good at that. And he's what are we doing,
There's
Kevin?
Ian.
Hey, Ian. Everything's still snowed under up there, I guess, Ian, right? I know you said you're getting ready to pull your bees out of the barn. I missed it. Kevin wants to know, are anybody going to the West Virginia Beekeepers meeting in September?
Yeah, I might go. It depends on what's going on around the store.
And where's that at? Is that down there at that same place last year?
Yeah, I think so.
Close to where the I don't know, down there in the mountains.
Yeah.
I might go. I mean, it depends on what's happening there. Thank you, Brad. We got Ian and we got you, Brad, and we got Kevin Eady. We got some of the big guys in here tonight.
Yeah.
We just needed to get you on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ian and Kevin would have a good conversation. I know that Brad, you had a good conversation Tuesday night with you and Ian and the guy from Formic Pro, whoever makes that out. I forget what the guy, Nolan, is it? I believe.
Yeah.
And Kevin's talking to Rick. Is that Rick Sutton, Kevin? Yeah, you might be bigger in stature, I'll say, maybe. And Kevin says he's got a place in Louisiana and Mississippi, and then you got who else? What's the guy was out in St. Louis? We were out talking from Kentucky. Kent Williams.
Oh, Kent Williams.
Yeah, he's got bees down in Mississippi too.
Yeah, he does.
Hey, Doug, we got the Canadian invasion here. We got Doug from Saskatchewan, and
Yeah.
we got Lee, or we got Brad and Ian from Manitoba. Now we got to get James from out there in Alberta, and we'll have everybody in here.
Yeah, you'll have everybody nationwide up there.
Is Norman on here? I didn't see Norman from Vancouver.
I haven't seen him on here either.
I know that those guys up there are still below zero up there.
What is that noise?
Huh?
What is that noise?
Noise? I guess it's my
Yeah.
heater in the background.
Oh, okay.
Got a little ceramic heater here. Yeah. And Brad, he's in the wood shop making four-way or I guess two-way pallets and covers. $27 in Michigan tonight, Roy's, and 50 on Sunday.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a little bit better here on Sunday. Hey, Mike. Yeah. Well, Kevin, my question is, I mean, that's sort of isn't that a small meeting, Bill?
What's that?
West Virginia beekeepers meeting.
Yeah, it's a smaller meeting, yes. It's not real big. The last time I was at their fall one, the vendor area was kind of small. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, Kevin, weren't you eating dinner or something like last week with Rick Sutton? I didn't think he went to California. I know he goes from Kentucky down to Florida. He winters in Florida. And there's Mr. Mike from Easy Ox.
yeah.
What's happening? 33 out there in Ohio. Mr. John, he's down there in Florida at 75 degrees. Yeah, the next time I see Rick, thank him for keying me on my queen issues. He really about requeening on a well, actually he just told me that, young queens do a much better job. And the last couple of years, it's like, yeah, requeen every year, you're way better off
Yeah.
as far as production goes. Anybody can come in if y'all want to.
Yeah.
I'm getting bored here. I run out of stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Glad everybody else came in, all the commercial friends of ours. Yeah, Lisa, that's a problem with having a shop. You got to be open on Saturdays in order to keep the customers coming in.
Yeah, you're right.
Down there with her being, what is it, Louisiana, Lisa? Isn't that where she's at?
No,
You sent her stuff.
I think she's in Arkansas,
Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah, you're right.
And, season's up and running down there big time.
Oh, yeah.
So she could sell a lot of supplies,
Yep.
Yeah, Royal, why don't you come on in here and help me keep the conversation going? It gets a little hard after a while.
It does. It gets really tough after a while to keep the conversation going.
Retire, Doug? I ain't gonna retire, Doug. I'm still gonna farm and everything else.
Charlie will die on a tractor.
Yep. Made some sales to new beaks and some veteran beaks this week. Well, that's good. Doug, you're probably still up there running on a sled up there in the snow, ain't you?
Well, DC, that uncapping unit is the prototype is supposed to be here the end of April, and we're going to test it out, and then it'll go into final production if everything works the way it's supposed to work. It's going to be steam heated, and
I'll be back.
And it's internal to the uncapping machine itself. The steam heater is. So it's supposed to work really well, but we'll see. We're going to put it through its paces. So, and yeah, it's a uncapping tank and uncapper all in one. It's all one machine. Yeah, like the light. It's not a tabletop. It is a freestanding unit. So. So it's supposed to It's supposed to work really well. When I get a final review on it, when I get done with that, then I'll have pictures and everything else. So. Unsure right now, John, what that price point's going to look like. If everything works right, 1,500, 2,000, maybe something like that for the whole unit and uncapping tank. Bill is more fun when you drink, Roy.
What's that?
Bill's comment. He said, "I'm more fun when you drink."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the price point could change, but we'll see. See what it does, what it looks like when it gets here, and then we'll set a price point. And it also depends on manufacturing costs too, as to what that price point's going to look like.
Right now, you got to look at the way that tariffs are and what's happening in the world and everything else.
Yeah. So we'll see. Asia, Eric. It's from Asia, not China, Asia.
Where most everything's either Italy or Spain or wherever.
Yeah. A lot of your stuff now is China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Japan, Korea. That's where all your stainless steel stuff comes from, is there. Then you get other beekeeping equipment out of Greece, Pakistan, India. Very little of it out of Europe, Mexico, places like that. Some of it comes from there. Greece does a little bit of stainless steel work, but not much. The best stainless steel work comes out of the Asian countries, and the best stainless steel comes out of the Asian countries. So,
yeah.
And there's very, very, very little beekeeping equipment made in America. Very little.
You got Max Ant, but it's expensive.
Yeah. And like Max Ant, look at the price of Max Ant stuff. It's like through the roof. And then, of course, if you buy wax foundation, it's made in New Zealand, China, and England. That's where your wax foundation comes from. And you don't know who you're getting it from when you order it. You don't know who's made it because it's not on the boxes.
Yeah, DC got the Harmony Farms, that roller system, and then you got Hilco's thing. I know some people that had the Harmony Farms, and I don't know, they get rid of it after a while. You got that motion of this motion here, and that'll tell you it tears your shoulders up. What is it? Well, guys, we'll see you later, I guess, instead of calculator. I guess that's AI put in there. All right, Kevin. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week or Monday night. We have a show on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard if you want to stop in. Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. Always fun to talk to you.
Working on it, James, on the carrying case for them. And the shamrock stuff, there's a guy in Tennessee, then there's a guy in Texas, and there's a couple of dealers up in the Northeast, but they're not carrying. There's one in Maine that's not carrying the shamrock yet because they all have to pay that high dollar shipping, which is going to drive the price of it up for them. Whereas I don't pay that shipping. I go get it. So yeah.
Hey, Clay Cook.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
I can tell you that the wooden frames, DC deeps are 325, mediums are 3 each. If that's what you're running, if you want to run the acorn, I got to look those prices up and get back to you about that Monday night. Yeah, Mark, I'm not trying to make a killing off of one beekeeper. I'm trying to get the repeat business.
Hey, Jamie. Um, hey, Judd.
So everything I sell is acorn foundation. If it's a wooden frame, it's got acorn foundation in it. If it's plastic, it's acorn. And the wooden part of the frame comes out of Pennsylvania. So that part's American made. $1 is that 195 or $1.95 DC for what? You mean the 100% plastic frame? Mm, so it's 5 deeps. Hang on a second, I can tell you. And you want the wood with the plastic foundation or the all plastic frames? If it's wood, with the plastic foundation, it's $162.50 plus shipping for those 5 boxes that you bought. Well, of course you're going to break them if you run over them with your truck, Phil. They're not indestructible.
Come on.
And Phil, for you, all sales were final. No returns, no exchanges. If you got a couple of minutes when this is over, Charlie, I got some news for you.
All right. Now I'm trying to get my thing going here, right? Well, guys, I tell you, I got to get up about 5 o'clock in the morning. And night, Brian. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the chat down. And I got to, like I said, I'm going to a bee meeting tomorrow, and it's going to take me at least an hour and 45 minutes to get there. And I got to get up early. DC says $162 include them in the, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's frames that we were just talking about.
All right. Mike Bees, or good to see you. Sorry you got
Mike.
late. All right, guys. We'll see you. Let's see. What's today? Friday. Might see you on Joey's chat tomorrow night. Or we'll see you on Monday at Bees All Day.
Yep. Good night. Good night, Phil. You're not getting anything for free.